So I have a thing for forgotten or underappreciated Pokemon. This guy, great. This thing, honestly great as well. This thing, no, I don't go that far. Octillery obviously fits into this forgotten and underappreciated category, and as a kid, I honestly didn't even know that this thing existed. I knew about Remoraid because some trainers have it and like the whole Mantine thing, but today I'm going to be starting with it and then evolving during the playthrough. Here are the rules. I've left them in the description so that you can reference them later on. I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Totodile with Remoraid. That's so that the rival will choose Chikorita, the Pokemon that I'm going to be weak against. The program that I use to do this starter swap is actually linked in the description of all my videos in case you want to play your own Pokemon challenges. I nicknamed my Remoraid Watergun because, well, that's literally what it is, and it's also the only move that it starts with. Now, while I take care of the Mr. Pokemon stuff at the start of the game, I want to mention my approach to DVs and Hidden Power in my Generation 2 playthroughs. I set my DVs, which are determinate values, the same thing as IVs in later generations. I set them so that they're near perfect, and so that they give me the Hidden Power type that will benefit the Pokemon I'm using. I do this because I want to see how fast the Pokemon can beat the game, so I'm looking for peak performance. Plus, I want it to feel fair when I compare these playthroughs in my tier list at the end of the video. Today, I'm choosing to have Hidden Power Ground. This is going to help Remoraid and Octillery check Electric and Steel types, and more specifically the Magnemite line. Now, unfortunately for me, I have a problem. Already. Remoraid only knows Water Gun, and I have to fight the rival who has a Chikorita. A water move's really going to not do anything to it. The fastest way to solve this problem, though, is training until Remoraid has depleted all of its Water Gun PP. When I'm fully tapped out, I'm ready for the rival. I made Remoraid hold a berry for this fight so that it can recover health when it deals damage to itself with Struggle. But Water Gun, my struggling Remoraid is doing a lot more damage than I was expecting. My attack is lowered, but that doesn't even make the fight close. I finish off Chikorita without even touching my berry. Now, Water Gun, the move, is going to be all that I have for a while. Lock-On is coming up, but that's really not going to be useful. Falkner's AI is going to prioritize Gust and Tackle because they get the same type attack bonus instead of Mud Slap. Because I only get a Water-type move, I'm going to be skipping Sprout Tower until later in the game. I really don't want the pain that is losing to level 3 Bellsprouts to follow me in this playthrough. I finish off the trainers in the gym, and then I arrive at Falkner at level 11. Let's do this. Remoraid's holding a berry again for this fight. It's on my to-do list, by the way, to add an area to the overlay to display this information for all of you, but it just hasn't quite happened yet. Soon, I promise. Water Gun does over half, and he shrugs off Pidgey's Tackle. I realize now that you have no idea if I'm talking about my Pokemon or the move. Anyways, I finish the bird off and Pidgeotto's next. My attack does 1/3, Gust takes me to just above half health. I take it into orange, and then the second Gust triggers my berry. That's all I need, and Falkner is no more. He can be very challenging in some runs, so it's nice to be off to an easy start. Maybe this forgotten Pokemon is a hidden powerhouse. We'll have to wait and find out. Falkner gives me Mud Slap as a prize, and here I want to once again air my grievances about this move. Remoraid and Octillery can both learn it. Gligar, who's a ground type, can't. This cutie deserved better. I won't need it right now though for Remoraid, because Water Gun is more than enough to manage all the Pokemon on the next route. I pick up the Repel and use it in Union Cave to avoid encounters. On the lowest floor, I grab the TM for Swift. Now I want to mention Remoraid's stats. They are completely balanced, so adding Swift to my moveset gives me access to both a physical attack and a special attack. As I'm defeating the Rockets in Slowpoke well, I realize that Remoraid is making really good time through the game. And this is honestly probably because I just skipped Sprout Tower. Because I'm a little underleveled, I do some extra training in Bugsy's gym before I face him. He opens with Metapod. Water Gun uses Swift and does more than half. Honestly, I should be using Water Gun here. The move. Either way, both Cocoons are simple 2-hits. Scyther is last. It goes for Fury Cutter, misses, and Water Gun does around 1/4 damage. It tries to use Fury Cutter again, and then it immediately follows it up with Quick Attack. So that's a really bad play, Bugsy. This is the sort of decision making that I honestly expect from myself. Anyways, that allows me to take an easy victory. Now, the second rival fight is typically quite challenging, and today that's probably going to be true because I'm fighting his strongest team. His Bayleaf knows Razor Leaf. For Ghastly, I rely on Water Gun. It does so much damage but doesn't quite knock the ghost out. I'm really lucky that the Retaliatory Lick doesn't paralyze me. Bayleaf is next. Now the AI knows that it won't one-hit me, so it decides to use Poison Powder to set up first. That gives Remoraid 1 turn to deal damage with Swift. Okay, that isn't doing very much. However, my second Swift gets a critical hit, but Bayleaf survives with red health and uses Razor Leaf. Please hang on. Remoraid survives, eats its berry, and knocks Bayleaf out. Okay, this isn't over though. There's still a Zubat to deal with. Water Gun does more than half, the bat bites, Remoraid survives, and I take the victory on my first attempt. Now, take a moment to examine Remoraid's level up learn set. At level 22, it learns Psybeam, Aurora Beam, and Bubble Beam. It learns all of the beams, all at once. Well, it doesn't learn Ice Beam, but that would honestly be way too strong. This is such an incredible move pool to gain access to this early into the game. I spent a bit of time training before Goldenrod to ensure that I level up and learn these moves. Psybeam fills my empty slot, Aurora Beam replaces Lock On, and Bubble Beam replaces Water Gun. Now it's time for some errands. I grab the coin case, buy Abra, obtain the bike, yes, I'll actually be using it today, and then I pick up Kenya, my fly mule. On the way to visit the Squister, I level up Remoraid and it evolves into Octillery. First of all, when this happens, it learns Octazooka. Yeah, that's an actual move. It has a 50% chance to lower the opponent's accuracy. However, it's only 65 base power and 85% accurate, so while it's fun and flavorful for now, it's not going to be sticking around for too long. The stat changes that accompany this evolution are honestly kind of a mixed bag. Attack and special attack go off the charts, increasing by 50 points, but speed actually goes down. Please everyone in the comments tell me how fast octopi are so that we can petition Game Freak to make this thing faster. At least the same speed as Remoraid. Oh, by the way, the Squirt Bottle Lady's sister, she says this. So like, I really don't like to read. Whitney opens with Clefairy. I use Aurora Beam, it uses Metronome, and gets Dragon Rage. Come on! This move is so strong early in the game. It cuts my HP exactly in half, and I'm moving on to Miltank in a poor position. The cow starts to roll, and now it's Octillery's time to shine with its signature move. Octazooka hits Miltank for half and lowers its accuracy. Unfortunately, rollout still connects, but my second Octazooka is all that I need. I'm glad that the Dragon Rage didn't mess me up. I've got to face Sudowoodo next. Octazooka makes it an easy one-hit, and that clears the path to face the Kimono Girls. It was at this point that I started to realize just how great Octillery is. It shreds all the opponents in its path with awesome offensive stats and a diverse and balanced move pool. My prize for clearing the dance hall is that I get access to Surf, and unfortunately this is the end of the road for Octazooka. It was cool while it lasted. I head through Mount Mortar, which had windows installed for Pokemon Crystal, and then I make my way to the Lake of Rage. I grab some important items here, and all of that concludes when I get the TM for Hidden Power Ground. It has 70 base power today, by the way. The addition of this move at this time in the playthrough makes the rival in the Burn Tower so easy. It one-hits Haunter and the Magnemite. I use Aurora Beam against Bayleaf. It isn't a one-hit, I take some damage, finish it off, and then use Aurora Beam to knock Zubat out. Now, out west of Ecruteak, there is a tree that has 1 mint berry. This lets the holder recover from sleep. I considered grabbing it, however, Octillery is so great, and I think that I can manage Morty without it. After all, saving the berry for Chuck might just be the better choice. Morty leads with Ghastly. This is problematic because it loves to set up Curse. However, my slow octopus is overleveled enough that it outspeeds and one-hits the ghost. Haunter follows. I again outspeed and knock it out. Okay, Gengar's going to move first. It does, with Hypnosis, and Octillery falls asleep. Okay, I'm really kicking myself for skipping the Mint Berry now. Gengar uses Dream Eater, does a lot of damage, but on the second turn I wake up, use Hidden Power, and knock Gengar out. All that's left is a single Haunter, and I've earned the 4th badge. On the next route, I grab the Mint Berry, then I pick up the Good Rod. I'm going to use this to catch a Krabby. After all that's done, I grab the rare candy in the lighthouse and go head-to-head with our good friend Dennis. Now it's time to head out to sea, and I have sort of a nostalgic attachment to this area of the game. I remember going to my grandpa's place where I could watch Pokemon on TV. It was like so great, and I explored this route exhaustively there. My grandpa asked me many questions about the game while I was playing, and I told him that I was exploring the ocean, talked about the whirlpools and the coral reefs. I said that there's probably mysterious Pokemon behind them. The TV was on in the background while I was playing, and the first ever ad for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire came up. It showed double battles, and I was like so excited about it. This is honestly one of my most distinct memories of me spending time with my grandpa. It was just like so great to be able to share this special interest with him. In Chuck's gym, there are typically some challenging fights, but Octillery sweeps through them all with ease. I give it the Mint Berry, and then I face Chuck. Against Primeape, I use Surf, and it takes it out in a single hit. Psybeam actually would have done less damage there, but for Poliwrath, that isn't the case, because it's also a water type. I use Psybeam, it does more than half. Chuck wastes his turn with Mind Reader, and then Octillery takes an easy victory. Because I have access to both Fly and Surf, I head back to this town. What's its name? Like, I never spend any time here. Cherry Grove City. Okay, yeah. I surf on the water over to this little island and talk to this guy. He gives me Mystic Water, which boosts the power of water-type moves by 10%. So, yeah, Octillery just got another buff. And it comes just in time for, like, the hardest part of the game, the rocket plotline. And since I've got this time, I think it's worth saying that this is starting to feel like the easiest Generation 2 playthrough that I've ever had. I've beat the game with Pokemon like Celebi, Heracross, Steelix, and Scizor, and they all honestly underperformed. But Octillery is impressing. I'm totally guilty of sleeping on this powerhouse. Like, it's fantastic. I hope next time I do a regular playthrough, I'll find a way to add it to my team. Okay, it's Price. Let's make a little bit of fun of him, because honestly, I don't even have a good move to use against him, but he's still incredibly easy. Dugong's annoying, because clearly Lorelei gave Price some tips. It loves to snooze, but once it's finished, I just one-shot the Piloswine, and that's it. Like, Price is so bad. Jasmine's next, and usually she's quite challenging, but Octillery is fully prepared for her. It outspeeds the Magnemite and one-hits both of them with a single hidden power each. Steelix is next, and then I misclick. Like, I really wanted to use Surf against it. It uses Sunny Day, decreasing the power of water-type moves by 50%, but Steelix isn't aware of the beast that Octillery is. A Sun-weakened Surf still gets the job done. I grab the TM for return, this is obviously a must-have for a Generation 2 playthrough, and then I do the Rocket plotline. Octillery doesn't need to heal during this section of the game, even once. It has so much PP that it just crushes all of its enemies. Here's the rival fight. Like, I'm not sure what to say about it. I was so confident at this point that I'm not even healing before fights. I take some damage in this fight from the Meganium, but it just isn't that much. Yeah, things are real easy now. In Ice Path, I forgot a Repel, and then a Jinx shows up. Yikes, this Pokemon is the whole reason that I buy Repels. So, Claire's next. Aurora Beam one-hits all three of her Dragonairs, and Kingdra's last. For it, I taught Octillery Return. It does more than half. Kingdra uses Smokescreen, but my second return still connects. Sorry, Claire, you're not stopping this octopus today. I do a job interview, and I ace it. They're like asking me like, hey, how do you take care of your Pokemon, that kind of stuff. Do you treat them well? And I'm like, yeah, I totally do. And because of that, I answer all the questions correctly. They're like, hey, we're going to entrust you with this special Dratini as a result. And the only fitting thing to do is immediately turn it into an HM Mule and use it to obtain rare candies to feed to Octillery. Sprout Tower, yeah, gotta do it now because I don't want to memorize Mount Silver on 4 times speed. Now, since this playthrough has been so dominant, I decided to skip all the trainers on Victory Road and just proceed to the League as fast as possible. Continuing the trend from the previous 2 rival fights, this encounter is also a clean sweep for me. I'm not going to do any extra League preamble today because honestly, I think that Octillery is just going to stomp all of them. Now, let's do this. Will is first. I have Aurora Beam. It helps a lot. Return 1 hits Jinx, and then Slowbro makes things, slow. Of course it does. Well, and if that's all the League's got, Octillery, he's really unimpressed. For Koga, I have Psybeam, and it really helps. Venomoth is a Psychic type though, so it survives, but gets confused and then faints anyways. Yeah, I one-hit the Fortress. That very rarely happens. Surf one-hits the Muck with a critical hit, and then Crobat slows things down. Okay, so like there's an unimpressive pattern starting to emerge. Oh well. Bruno time. Surf doesn't knock Hitmontop out, and it actually deals damage to me. The other two Hitmons aren't really a challenge, and then Machamp survives Surf and uses Cross Chop. This fight wasn't hard, but Bruno did put up the best fight so far. I'm a little bit surprised, but Octillery is still completely unimpressed. Now it's time for Karen. She's usually one of the strongest trainers in the game. I use Surf, get a critical hit, and knock Umbreon out. That also doesn't happen very often. I use Aurora Beam against Vileplume, it survives, tries Stun Spore, fails, and then faints. Gengar's next. It survives Psybeam, paralyzes me, cutting my speed, moves first with Destiny Bond, and then I knock it out. So that's my first reset of this entire playthrough. Now, Octillery does learn Ice Beam through level up. When I knock the Gengar out on my next fight, I get access to it. And that's perfect timing because Murkrow's next. But then I miss, take curse damage, feint attack damage, and then Houndoom outspeeds and knocks me out with Crunch. That's the second reset. The third fight plays out nearly identically, but this time Ice Beam doesn't miss, and I move on to Houndoom. Crunch does some damage, I tank it pretty well, and then Surf finishes it off. It's time for Lance. Of all his Pokemon, the first Gyarados is probably the hardest to knock out. It takes 2 hits. The same cannot be said for everything that follows. Yes, Octillery one-hits his entire remaining team. Charizard does outspeed and does some damage with Wing Attack. Aerodactyl also does some damage, but that's it. Octillery did it at level 55 with a real time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 40 seconds, with 2 resets and a game time of 5 hours and 4 minutes. Now, I want to talk about one of the coolest parts of Octillery's moveset. It learns Flamethrower. Let that sink in for a moment. This cool water octopus learns a fire-type move. I spend a lot of money buying coins just so that I can learn this to add it to my moveset because I think it's so cool. Honestly, it won't help too much, but at least it covers my weakness to Erica's team. Now, I take a trip on the SS Aqua, and there's a bed that you can actually heal in here. Remember, in Generation 1, there is no bed or no NPC that you can heal with in the SSN. You have to go back to the Pokemon Center. Anyways, thanks for continuously asking me why I don't just heal on the SSN in all of my videos. It is really, really helpful. Sabrina is the first Kanto gym leader that I face, and honestly, this fight doesn't go particularly well. For Octillery, that means being taken into orange health and not one-hitting all the opposing Pokemon. Flamethrower, as predicted, burns through Erica's entire team. The fight against Misty takes a nerve-wracking turn when Lapras uses Perish Song, but Octillery finishes it off in time. Surge is the last leader that could be problematic, but at this level I outspeed all of his Pokemon. Yeah, I outspeed all of the electric types, and they all faint to a single hit. I really wanted to catch the Snorlax so that I'll have access to leftovers in case I need them. And not wanting to knock it out, I decided to just throw a Great Ball at it, and it just catches it. First try. Alright, nice. So Octillery has really impressed me so far. The 2 losses that it incurred in the league were mostly luck-based, like the troll with Destiny Bond and then the miss on Ice Beam. But is it going to impress against the 2 most powerful trainers in the game? Let's find out. Blue starts with Pidgeot. It hits Octillery with Wing Attack, and Ice Beam takes it down in a single hit. Exeggutor's next, and Flamethrower deals with it with ease. Alakazam does a decent amount of damage before fainting to return. Gyarados is next. Blue loves to heal this thing with full restore. I knock it out and move on to Arcanine with 76 health remaining. The worry here was that it was going to outspeed me. Well, it does because it uses extreme speed, but Octillery survives and knocks it out. And all that's left is Rhydon, and Surf is an easy KO here. So the blue fight was really simple, but red is a completely different challenge. After all my rare candies, I'm level 74. Pikachu's first. It uses Charm to lower my attack, and then it survives my return. Oh no, that's not good. I really should have used Surf here. Second turn, it uses Thunder, doing more than half, and paralyzing as well. I do knock the electric type out, but Venusaur survives Flamethrower and gives Octillery a 3rd reset. Using Surf first turn, I knock Pikachu out in a single hit. Venusaur sets up Sunny Day. I really should have predicted this and gone for Flamethrower. Because I don't, it survives and then hits a massive Solar Beam. I do get to move on to the Espeon, but it outspeeds and knocks me out right away. Not good. Octillery does learn Hyper Beam through level up, so I try this on the 3rd fight, but it isn't a good idea. For the first time in this video, I think I'm actually going to have to grind a bit for levels. I come back at level 76 with Rest, but this really doesn't help. I just need more levels. At level 79, I'm really hoping that I can do it. This time Pikachu fails its charm and I knock it out with Surf. With 5 additional levels, Octillery now puts Venusaur into red health, and this causes it to use Synthesis in an attempt to heal. That allows me to knock it out and move on to Espeon with full health. This is going way better. It hits me twice and then I knock it out. Snorlax time. And this Pokemon is so strong. I'm not healing fast enough with Rest to be able to strike back. I just keep having to use Rest or the fight will end. And that's when I realize it. I can stall Snorlax out. I'll be able to drain its PP from Body Slam faster than it drains my PP from Rest. I'm crossing my fingers here obviously that it doesn't get a critical hit, but it doesn't, and then I start to knock it out. It takes time. This Sleepy Bear is obviously very buff, but I eventually do it. Blastoise is next. It can't do much damage to me, so I take things slowly here using Rest when needed. Charizard is last. It damages me, and then Surf takes it out. Octillery finishes Pokemon Crystal in 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 56 seconds, at level 79 with 7 resets and a game time of 6 hours and 57 minutes. Now, while I finish the game, I think that there's actually a more bland but consistent way to approach Red. If you watch these videos before, you'll probably know how I'm going to do it. Rest and Sleep Talk. Alongside this incredible combo, I'm going to use Flamethrower and Surf. The latter allows me to knock out Pikachu in a single hit, and because both of these attacking moves are special attack, Charm is now irrelevant. Venusaur follows, and because it knows Sunny Day, I can use Flamethrower and one-hit it. I think we're actually speed tied here because sometimes I move first and sometimes it does. Either way, this is a free knockout for Octillery. Espeon follows, and this is the first place that I can potentially lose. Psychic does a lot of damage, and because of its speed, it gets 2 turns to move. If it gets a crit, the fight's probably over. After that, I have to face Snorlax, and this is the hardest Pokemon on Red's team. Flamethrower helps a lot here because it has the potential to burn, and the sun is still out from Venusaur. If I've got a decent amount of health left, Snorlax will use its first turn on Amnesia, but if my health is low, it's going to go for Body Slam. It's risky to not use Rest when I'm under about 90 hit points. If it gets a crit, I lose, and if it paralyzes, I also lose. This is where Sleep Talk changes the game. I don't need to stall it out. Instead, I can continue to attack even when it's asleep. Sleep Talk can select Rest in this generation, so in those cases I heal up early and reset my sleep counter. With Snorlax out of the way, the fight is so much easier. Blastoise takes a little while, but Surf does a lot of damage because I have Stab and the Mystic Water. After that, Charizard is only going to use Wing Attack and Surf one-hits it. The main way that Octillery can lose in this fight when using this strategy is by critical hits. In Generation 2, there is a 1 in 24 chance that a move scores a critical hit. Gone are the days of Gen 1 speed-based crits. Espeon gets 2 attacks to crit, and Snorlax is going to get so many. Blastoise and Charizard both aren't doing enough damage for a crit to be worrying though. I played this fight 10 times, and here's a brief compilation of how it went. By the way, we watched the 6th fight just now. Massive crit against Snorlax speeds the fight up and leads to victory. I fight Snorlax regularly and then knock it out over time. Crit Snorlax again and take it out quickly, leading to victory. Now it's time for the fails. Espeon crits. Snorlax crits. Snorlax crits again. Snorlax crits again. I survive though. It paralyzes me, so I lose anyways. Snorlax crits. I'm really wanting speed-based crits back right now. And then Espeon crits. So that's 4 wins and 6 losses with this strategy. Someone run the statistics for me on this, please. It just doesn't seem like a probable distribution of events. However, I think that there might be an even better strategy. Sleep Talk and Rest are the obvious choices, and I was really only using them together to solve the Snorlax problem. Defense Curl though might be able to solve this problem just as well, if not better. Surf still one-shots Pikachu, and Flamethrower deals with the Venusaur and Espeon, as was the case before. Snorlax is next, and I can set up reducing its regular damage and giving me a more predictable fight. At least that was the idea in theory, but there's an unforeseen consequence of setting up here. Because I'm now in green health more often, Snorlax really likes to use Amnesia more frequently. That means it gets 6 special defense boosts, and now I can basically do no damage to it. This leads to what might have been the most painful fight that I have ever had. It took so long. Snorlax depletes its PP first, and it honestly looks like it isn't even losing health when it's using Struggle. I deplete my PP and I manage to knock it out, but Blastoise finishes me. So that's definitely not a better option. So the next option that I explore is Flamethrower, Rest, Curse, and Return with the Quick Claw. I know a lot of you don't like the Quick Claw because it's just like luck, but when searching for a strategy that will win more times out of 10 than another strategy, this item actually really helps. The problem with this set though is that I can't attack when I'm asleep. Return alone isn't consistent against Pikachu because it survives my attack if it uses Charm on the first turn. Additionally, if it uses Thunder, the fight is basically over, Espeon just knocks me out. Curse doesn't even really help against Snorlax, because when I arrive here, if I have too little health, then I get stuck healing forever and I can never set up. If I start setting up, then the fight drags on, giving Snorlax more time to get a crit. I only won 6 out of 10 fights with this strategy, so it is better, but still not great. So I was really trying to design a moveset that had a physical attack, a special attack, and reliable recovery. I did try one set that had Rain Dance, but it was really bad. Just so bad. The next set that I settled on was Surf, Rest, Sleep Talk, and Return with the Pink Bow. This doesn't work though. If Pikachu uses Charm, then my attack is cut and Venusaur becomes nearly impossible. By the way, from here I'm using the Quick Claw, so just assume that from now on. With Surf, Rest, Sleep Talk, and Return, things aren't much better. Charm ruins my chances, and Snorlax can really effectively stall me out with Rest. And then it hit me. Could it be, after all this time, that this is really the answer? I'd try a moveset out with Octazooka, hoping to lower Snorlax's accuracy and capitalize on Ice Beam's chance to freeze. But unfortunately, this doesn't work. I was really hoping that this flavor play would work. I actually tested this in so many different configurations, just hoping it would work, but none of them did. Beyond these choices, we have some other ones which are less ideal. Swagger's possible, Double Team is obviously going to work, Snore could provide some physical damage against Snorlax, but I think that the best option is to level up more. Luckily, Octillery can do this easily by crushing the league over and over. At level 83, I come back and use my most successful moveset so far. Flamethrower, Rest, Curse, Return with a Quick Claw. This feels quite good, honestly. Pikachu can mess everything up with a Paralysis on Thunder, but other than that, the only really issue is if Snorlax gets a critical hit at the wrong time. I accidentally played this fight one too many times, so I won 8 times out of 11 attempts. I'd be comfortable attempting red at this level with this set, because without bad critical hit luck, I'm going to be able to do it. I'm so happy that I got a sub 2 hour finish for this one. At the start of 2022, I made the tough choice to start playing Generation 2 at 4 times speed. It makes producing these videos significantly easier, and it makes the times more comparable between my Gen 1 videos and these videos. So we have 2 results so far. Piloswine fits into the A tier, and Octillery is obviously headed straight for the S tier. I'm sure that these 2 will get shuffled down as more powerful Pokemon get their chance at this game. Like, subscribe, ring the chime echo, and leave a comment because I gotta read them all. Thanks to all my patrons. Your support allows me to continue making this content for everyone. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the creation of these videos, get exclusive content, and a private Discord server, then check it out in the description below. If you've made it this far, you're incredible. Now, it's bloopers time. Octillery, little octopus guy. This thing, oh my gosh, it's good. I can't believe how good this thing is. What? Maybe it's just I've been playing the game with a lot of really bad Pokemon like Yanma and Gligar. Now when I get to a Pokemon like Octillery that actually just functions, I'm like, oh my, this is great. It just sweeps everything. Anyways, yeah, let's get into it. Oh, I should get water so I don't ruin my voice with this recording. Yeah, let's do that. So I have a thing for underappreciated Pokemon. No, I missed a word. There's Forgotten in there too. Now, unfortunately for me, I already have a problem. Memorate. Ah! Ah, dear. Oh, I clipped so bad on that scream. Yikes. Oh, dear. Either way, both the Cocoons are simple 2 hits. Scyther is last. It goes for Fury. I was doing so well. I went through so many paragraphs without any major mistakes. Now, the second rival fight is typically very challenging. Today, that's probably going to be true because it's his strongest team. His Bayleaf knows the Bayleaf knows the Razor Leaf here. That's what I wanted to say. His Bayleaf knows the Razor Leaf. Don't say that. I've got to face Sudowoodo next, but Octazooka makes it an easy one-hit. With the pass clear, I face the Kimono Girls, yes. With the path. Please, everyone, tell me how fast octopuses are in the comments so that we... Wait, is it octopi? Octopuses? Octopi? Octopi. Yeah, it's octopi.